Welcome to L2 Dealer, IG Market's own professional level dealing platform. In this video, we'll cover the basic functionalities of L2, how to find the markets that you'd like to trade, how to execute a trade using both DMA or direct market access for share trades, and over-the-counter for spread-based products such as foreign exchange and indices. Other necessities such as monitoring your orders and positions and setting up watch lists will also be covered. Okay, so let's get started, and we'll begin with how to go about finding a specific tradable market using the dictionary function. So the dictionary function is this magnifying glass icon on your L2 toolbar, and if we click the mouse there, you'll see that the dictionary appears, and it's basically a number of folders which will house the different markets that we offer. And when you click the plus signs here, you'll see that the folders drop down. So if we select a stock index, you can see you can double click your mouse here to generate a deal ticket for any of these markets. And you can see the basic OTC or over-the-counter deal ticket and how that's formatted. We'll revisit the OTC dealing process later on, but first let's take a look at how you can also use the search function rather than the dictionary to find the market that you're looking for. And here it's a case of just typing into the search field in your L2 toolbar the name of the market that you're actually looking for. So as an example, if we are looking for the Australian stock BHP, you just need to type in the stock ticker and you can see the search function will automatically find it for you. Hitting enter on your keyboard will bring up the deal ticket for that market. Okay, so now that we know how to find the markets that are tradable, let's take a look at the actual execution process and how to do this using both the DMA or direct market access or over-the-counter functionalities. And let's first start with an over-the-counter market. So we'll return back to the indices folder here. And if we choose the Australian index, okay, now this deal ticket is pretty well self-explanatory. You've got a couple of variables to worry about. The two more important variables here will be which direction your trade is, which obviously you can select here using your mouse. And the other big variable is whether you're dealing at the market quote or whether you have a specific limit or stop entry point in mind. So you can use this drop down section here to select whether you're dealing at market or at a limit or stop entry level. Now if I place a limit order on this market, and let's place a limit order to buy if the market should drop down to 41.50. You type in the number of contracts and the price level you'd like to be your execution level, and basically hit proceed when you're happy with the parameters of your order. So you can see there we've placed a limit order to buy one contract at a limit price of 41.50. Now when you click proceed, this order will go ahead and move on to a different part of the system, and when this order goes through, as you can see the little green highlight here, the order's gone through. It'll actually now live in the orders to open section of your dealing platform. So let's just take a look at that and you'll see where it arrives. It's actually within this positions tab here on your L2 toolbar. Now here you can see that the order we've placed will actually sit in the orders to open section of this positions window. And of course, once the order is filled, whereby the order is triggered and executed in the market, you'll see this order then transfer itself into the open positions window down the bottom here. And of course you can manage your orders and your positions just by right clicking your mouse. And once you've right clicked your mouse, you can see here that you've got the option to either edit or delete that working order. Now, one very important point which crops up from time to time with clients using L2 Dealer is to make sure that when you're trading an OTC market that you place the correct order type when you're looking to close out of a trade. And the way to set a closing trade in an OTC market is to make sure that you have a limit attached if you have a specific profit target in mind. And the way to attach that limit is to right click, edit the working order or the position, and simply type in your limit distance as a number of points away from your execution price, or after execution has occurred you can type the physical price level in that you'd like to close out the trade. So in our example here, if we had a profit target of 20 points from execution, we would simply type 20 in the limit field. And it's very important to do it this way as opposed to once your trade been executed, then placing an order in the opposing direction. That will in fact open a brand new position in the opposing direction, so be sure to attach either a stop or a limit if you've got a specific price you'd like to close out of the trade at. Okay, we can now see I've got an example of an open position here in the open positions window, and similar to the orders to open procedure, if you're looking to close out of a trade you can simply right click your mouse here and hit close position. As I mentioned before, if you had a specific price level that you would prefer to close the trade at instead, you can simply ensure that you have a limit attached to your position here. But if I want to go ahead and close this trade out at the current market value, all I need to do is click the proceed button here. And you get a confirmation that the trade is done and the position disappears. Let's now take a look at the DMA or direct market access functionality. It's a slightly different process to the OTC example that we've just seen. And let's take an Australian stock as an example, and BHP we'll focus on. And immediately you should be able to see the differences in the deal ticket functionality here. We've got the DMA ticket or tab highlighted here in orange to indicate that is a DMA order, and you can see the market depth here in the BHP ticket as well. Okay, now the functionality is somewhat similar in terms of how you go about executing the trade. The direction is selected, the number of shares are typed into the size field, and the price limits that you're happy to pay for the stock or sell the stock down to, you type into the price field. So in our example, let's type in $32.35. And stop losses are always done as a number of points away prior to execution. When you're happy to go ahead here with the order, similar to before, you're going to click proceed. That order's now gone through, and if we minimize the deal ticket for a moment, this order and all orders in fact that are done using the DMA functionality, rather than going into the positions window, will actually live in a separate folder which is called Tradebook. So if we click on Tradebook here, we can see the order sitting here in this section, and similar to the OTC functionality, we can use this Tradebook folder to amend these orders where necessary. All the completed orders that are using DMA ended up in this bottom section of the page. So if we right click, the same functionality is available, and if we hit amend, we can amend this order to whichever price we see fit. And what we'll do is, for our example, we will amend our price level into the market just so that we get it done. Now you can see that trade has been executed, and now you can see it's popped down into the bottom section of the trade book, indicating that the order has been filled. Now if we go back to the positions window, you'll see the BHP position is sitting there, and similar to before, we can attach any stops or OTC limits if necessary. In this example, let's now attach a stop loss to our trade, and if we type in, let's say, $32 even, something which I think bears mentioning is that when you have a DMA trade which has been opened, the most efficient way to close out of these DMA trades is in turn to use a DMA order in the opposing direction to have the trade close out. Now, with a stop loss attached to this position here, we'll actually be obligated to remove that stop loss before placing an order to close out of the existing position. And this is done to prevent the risk that your trade would have the stop loss hit first, closing off your position, and later on your sell order being triggered, putting you into a short position. And obviously most traders want to avoid that, so the system will obligate you to remove the stop loss prior to placing a limit order to close out of this position. So if we edit this, remove the stop loss, the system will now allow us to go ahead and place a limit order to close out of this trade. So if we bring up a new deal ticket for BHP, our existing trade is here. So if we now want to sell out of the position, we can simply click sell. Our position, you can see, is down the bottom of the deal ticket here, so we know what our position is. So if we click sell 10 shares and place a limit order at whichever price is suitable, in this example 32.42, when we click the proceed button, the sell order goes through. We can see it's highlighted in the market, and it's now been executed. And you can see in the background the position disappears from the positions window, and the trade is now closed out. I'd like to show now how to go about setting up a watch list in L2 Dealer. And the watch lists are entered by using this watch list tab, which is the star icon. You can see here the Watchlist Pro window comes up when you click there, and also on screen you can see I've got a watch list of stocks set up. In terms of adding a new stock to a watch list, all you need to do is type in to this white field down the bottom the relevant stock ticker, and in an Australian stock, if we pick one at random, let's say Karoon Gas, once you've typed in the ticker, just hit enter, and you'll find that Karoon Gas now is added to your watch list. Now from here you can make a lot of different decisions by right clicking your mouse here. You can delete the item from your watch list, obviously. If you're looking to trade that instrument, you can select the L2 screen option. You see a deal ticket is generated if you do that. You can also pick and choose what information is displayed on your watch list as well. You select the columns here, and it will allow you to pick and choose the information that is visible to you when you do so. Up the top you can see you can have more than one watch list saved if you wish, and if we are looking to add a new watch list to our system here, it's just a case of right clicking and adding a new tab, which can be renamed to whatever you'd like. And what I might do here is just show an example of how to get a forex market onto a watch list. To do so, first you need to find that market. So if we use the dictionary to do so, if we're looking at adding the Australian dollar US dollar cross to that watch list, all we need to do is right click and send to watchlist pro, and you can pick which of these folders it actually arrives in when you do so. So if we click new watchlist, you'll see it arrives here in the watch list that we've just set up. Okay, now that about does it for this first video on the basics of L2. There are many more features covered in other videos in this series, but if this video series doesn't answer any questions you have, feel free to contact the Premium Client Desk on 1-800-601-722, and the staff will be able to answer any questions you have.